Hey, it's Augie Anderson, your Brevard, Florida realtor, and I'm so excited because today I have Monica Santiago with Assured Partners Insurance,
Yeah.
and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about what she does. I think you're going to be blown away with this information we have to help existing homeowners and buyers of that are going to be needing homeowners. Take it away, Monica.
Thank you, Aggie. I'm so honored. It's such a pleasure to be able to share some of my information. My name, again, is Monica Santiago. I am a marketing manager with Assured Partners Insurance, but most importantly, I'm a licensed insurance agent. I've been practicing insurance for the last 8 years, and I'm really excited to share about renewals and homeowners insurance. We know it's quite the topic over these last couple of years, and most importantly, just now with the rates increasing on homeowners insurance, as well as insurance companies closing the doors here in Florida. So hopefully we'll be able to share some great information so that you can avoid any hiccups during, being a homeowner or during your transaction of purchasing a home.
Wonderful.
So, very excited.
So the reason I wanted to get together and talk to you is part of what I do. I feel like after the sale now has become very important to me because I feel like it's important to help people preserve their property value. And part of that is making certain they have the proper insurance, that they're properly insured, because people, a lot of people I've learned from a program that I told you about, Hamzada, are underinsured. So I think that's important to know. And so there's a lot of questions about renewing homeowners insurance. So I have a couple of questions if you would be kind enough to answer for me.
Yes.
I'm going to start out with when a homeowner is renewing their insurance, do they need to provide a 4-point inspection to do that?
So great thing about that is no, they do not, unless their insurance company is asking questions at renewal or at any point of them having your insurance policy, then they do not have to have a 4-point inspection unless requested. So that's a great thing if you have a policy that's 5 or 6 years old and you've been in your home for a little bit, you don't have to go out and get that.
And that's a good thing. So this is like, what if the roof or the AC has a problem? If you're renewing, that's not a problem unless you're going to sell. Is that correct?
Yes. So a lot of insurance companies right now are pulling data on the properties that they're insuring. So you may fall into a wave where if your roof is 15 or 20 years old and you've been with the same insurance company for 2 or 3 years, they may reach out to you. So, insurance is there for a catastrophe. So if there is a major, hurricane or a major claim on the roof, then, we want to know, okay, that roof is 20 years old. It probably has wear and tear, and they may not want to insure that. So they may ask questions, but at renewal, you should be fine again, unless your company asks questions.
I'm going to interject something here.
Yes.
I feel like when you're a homeowner and you purchase that home, just like investors, I highly recommend you create a reserve fund for those major big purchases, like your AC goes out or you have to replace your roof, and it's not based on an insurance factor or a claim, because then you have that reserve fund to help you. I've had many people go to sell their house and their roof is so old that they think they can do a credit of some sort to the buyer, but that 4-point inspection, which we're going to get into a little bit later, doesn't allow them to really do that. So you have to be prepared to replace your roof. Am I correct?
Yes. And I love how you talk about the reserve fund, because what's happened over these years and why we are in a state here in Florida where insurance is so high is because a lot of homeowners did not have a reserve fund to replace their roof. They depended solely on insurance in order to have a roof replacement. So having a reserve fund is key, because now we can get out of the state where we're at currently in Florida and get homeowners policy premiums down when everyone takes a little bit of the responsibility of, paying for their roof, because we are in Florida. The sun is beaming down on our properties, and so they don't last as long as they're deemed by the roofers. They're not really 30, 40 years old here in Florida. at 20 years, you'll be lucky if you make it that long. So,
Right.
and again, on your normal architectural shingle roofs, I'm not talking about metal or
Right.
tile roofs, but mostly the architectural shingles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how can a homeowner reduce their cost of insurance? Is
Mhm.
there any way they can bring their costs down? Because I hear a lot of people yelping about the cost of
Mhm.
insurance, and it has gone up, and I heard it's going to go up again in 2023. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I will tell you, there are there's some factors I have which I can share later in the slides about reducing your premium, but I will tell you, to answer your question, the main one is going to be a wind mitigation inspection. So if you have put on a roof and you say your house is maybe 30 or 40 years old, and in that time a new roof was put on, you can reduce your premium on your homeowner's insurance. It could be, now this is just a figure, could be $200 to $300 off of your annual premium. Rough numbers, so don't quote me on it, but with a wind mitigation inspection, that gives us what we need to see if you qualify for those discounts.
Wow.
And I think upwards of maybe $85 to $100 is the cost of it, of the wind mitigation inspection, and it's good for 5 years. So 5 years worth of that savings is fantastic.
That's excellent. That's really excellent. Okay, and I think we've already kind of covered my last question because it went into reserve funds. If the roof is bad, then you know, if their roof is bad and they want to sell their house, I don't know. They can't really get a credit. They have to get very creative, borrow money in some way because that roof has to pass the inspection. So what is that lifespan of where it can be? What is that number where it's
Yeah.
not gonna make it?
Well, insurance is looking at 2 years life expectancy left on a roof, and that would be done by a licensed inspector and under 4-point inspection. So 2 years is the cutoff. So if you're seeing granule loss off on, on the roof, and that it's well over 20 years old, even the 15-year mark, we're seeing a lot of issues there with the roof age. So I would say 2 years. 2 years, and our insurance carriers are kind of cutting it off and saying either we need you to replace it or we're not going to cover your roof at all. So that might be a little detrimental to a new home buyer.
Yes. So that's why we're doing this, because I just feel like people need to know. They need to be aware. They need to know information.
Yes.
King, right? All right,
Knowledge is power.
We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the buyers getting homeowners insurance, because this has become a thing, and I think it's really important for a couple people. The sellers need to understand it, the buyers need to understand it, and the realtors need to understand it. So
yes,
this is a trifecta here with this information.
It really is. And I'm so happy that you're sharing this information and we're able to provide these resources, because it is, and with the market changing and things changing, we have to stay in the know, because now our buyers and have a lot more time to think about buying a house and the specific property and the insurance, and we're not moving at 100 miles an hour like we were last year. So it's important to know the steps that need to be taken. So very exciting.
All right. Well, I know you're going to share some stuff with us. So I kind of went from the why is it important? And I know you're going to slide into this with everything, but I'm going to go with, you now are required to provide not just a 4-point inspection, but a clear 4-point inspection must be provided in order for you to obtain your insurance. So take it away, Monica. Tell us all about it.
Okay, well, we're going to dive right into 4-point inspection since you are on that topic. And I'm just going to cover really quickly. So I don't expect anyone hearing this to be an expert at inspections or insurance, but to vaguely understand what we're looking at on the insurance side, a 4-point inspection is kind of that golden ticket that we're looking at in order to obtain insurance. It gives us all of the factors we need in order to say this home is insurable, it's in the condition we want it to be to insure it, and you're clear to go with the insurance policy. So we're looking at the electrical system, the roof, the plumbing, and the HVAC and water heater. So really good information to know about this. We want a clear 4-point inspection. We want 0 hazards to be listed, which I have an example of a 4-point there, which lists under citizens. But we're making sure that the inspector doesn't see any electrical issues, corrosion, anything of hazard that may cause an issue to you being the new home buyer, or either one in the transaction. Water heaters, we're looking at them to be at least 20 years or newer, and then that's if it's in the garage or if it's outside. Now, we're looking at 14 years if the water heater is within the home, so laundry room, attic, utility room. So these are really key factors that you want to kind of make sure you're keeping an eye on when you're out looking at a home. And then AC units, if they last in Florida more than 20 years old, the cutoff for us is 20 years. For most insurance companies, they're looking at that as a cutoff. 4-point inspection is good for 1 year. So it's really great to have up front to make sure that we're checking all of that and we're clear to go. And then a wind mitigation inspection, which we talked about, is good for 5 years. And that's just going to give us the pretty much the construction of the roof and what discounts we can offer to see if it's hurricane resistant, and ensure that we can add those maximum discounts on there based on how well it was constructed. So I think that was great there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And then, do you have any other questions about wind mitigation 4 points? I know this is a hot topic right now. We used to not have to have these.
I know,
ago.
that's why I'm having you here, is because I think it's really important for everyone to understand this is not they'd like to have it. This is mandatory. This is a must-have. And I think it's really important for people to know this. So the other insurance I'm going to bring up in addition to this, because this kind of covered most of everything I've wanted to know, is what about flood insurance?
Flood insurance is its own separate policy, and flood insurance is not mandatory unless it is deemed in a flood zone. So your lender, if you're financing the home, will request and require that flood insurance is, obtained. Now, flood insurance is, if it's mandatory by the mortgage company, can be intertwined into your, escrow account. So then you're not having to pay for it out of pocket. But flood insurance, it is a hot topic as well. So flood insurance is
that for another day.
Yes, we can dive into that for hours. I can talk about flood insurance, but the key factor is just to keep an eye out. And usually on the real estate side, your realtor will, keep an eye out, and they'll check FEMA and check flood zones to ensure that we're catching it up front. But again, once it gets to the mortgage and your lender, they will make sure to double check it, and they'll let you know whether you need flood insurance or not.
Okay, let's talk about then, and we're going to wrap it up here, about reducing the cost of your insurance. Well, how can they bring that nut down?
All right, I knew you were going to ask me this, so I wanted to make sure I covered it. Really awesome features here. I'm sorry, now you have me talking about flood insurance again. Alarm certificates, and if you have a monitor, burglar, or fire alarm systems within a home will reduce the price of your insurance. Single entry and gated communities, which are fantastic. If it's single entry, gated, or it has a guard, additional discounts are there. And then your age, so 50 to 55 and above. And if you're retired, we can also give you some discounts on home insurance in that way. And then depending on the age of the home, if it's 5 years or newer, so some of the new construction homes, we offer accredited builders. So we like to work with preferred builders. And because of that, we'll give you a discount for purchasing a home in that category with one of those builders. And then wind mitigation inspection. We can't leave that out again, because that's also a huge factor, and that will give a significant discount. And I will say hurricane resistant windows, garage doors, those also are part of a wind mitigation inspection. And not only are they going to offer you a discount on your homeowner's policy, but they're also rolling out, legislation is passed, and so they're rolling out some tax credits on that as well. So that is also a double whammy. We've got home insurance credits and tax credits.
So that's really, that's a really good thing. That's a bonus, right?
Yes, a bonus. We love bonuses in insurance right now.
So if there's anything else you can add that we should know about, please, this is the time to let us know, because I feel like you've given us some great information for people to know about renewals and obtaining insurance when they're buying a home. I think this is very valuable information that you've provided. Anything else we need to know?
I will say, when purchasing a home insurance policy, we know that insurance here in Florida is pretty high. So making sure that you check with an insurance agency or broker that has multiple options and multiple insurance companies. Just because what one company may say no to, another may, we may have multiple options elsewhere. So just making sure to keep your options open. And also you have additional discounted bundle option. So you can bundle your home and auto together, and sometimes that offers a pretty nice discount savings as well. And I could probably talk about insurance. I teach a class. I could probably dive into 100 more things. So if you need me back on, I'll be happy to answer any additional questions that maybe your audience has reached out to you and requested. But I think that's top of mind of what I can think of right now.
That's awesome. I am so grateful for your time. And I think we covered some great details about insurance. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to have your information. If anybody else would like to get your information in the description. And if they're interested about information, you'll provide me that too, how they get
100%,
right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
All of that for you in the description. And if you'll just stop sharing your screen so we can wrap it up.
I absolutely will. Thank you so much.
All right, so that concludes this episode of Augie TV. Thanks again, Monica Santiago with Assured Partners Insurance. I appreciate you. Your information was fabulous. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you on the web.
Thank you, Augie. Thank you.